Continuing coverage of the boys Division I high school basketball tournament. Tonight, a Canton Regional semifinal. The Jackson Polar Bears taking on the Stow Bulldogs. And this TV67 special sports presentation is being brought to you in part by George Wakeham Ford. George Wakeham really is your friend at the factory. Value City Department Stores. No one gives you greater selection and savings than Value City. Valley Systems and Hydro Laser Technologies, working today for a better tomorrow. CCI and Ameritech Centrex, your telecommunications teammates. And Toyota and your Toyota dealer. I love what you do for me, Toyota. Hi again, everyone. Yours truly, Scott Davis, my broadcast partner, Tom Cannell. Tonight, our statistician, Tim Greenewalt, along with producer Randy Ramsey, director Dean Marini, Frank Schubert, and the fine folks of Image Video. Well, by beating Worcester in overtime, Alliance in double overtime, and Massillon 56-45 Monday night for the Canton District title, the Polar Bears are in the regional for the second time in the last 5 years. Stow is in the Sweet 16 tournament for the third time in the last 5. And remember the old song, something's got to give. Well, something has to give in this game. Stow averaging 94 points per game. Jackson allowing only 50 per contest. Tonight we're seeing two of the outstanding players in Northeastern Ohio. Bulldogs senior guard Kevin Kovac is averaging 25 points, 6 assists per game. Polar Bears sophomore sensation Jamie Bosley checking in 23 points and 10 rebounds per contest. Stow with 4 key players back from last year's Canton Regional team, plus a deep bench. Bulldogs winning the Struthers District tournament by beating Youngstown Cheney 112-74, and Austintown Fitch in the title game Sunday afternoon 80-64. Jackson's bread and butter, beating teams at the foul line. Statistician Todd Krebs tells us when Jackson makes 10 or more free throws, the team is 18-1. When held to under 10, Jackson is 0-4. In the district title win versus Massillon, Jackson an outstanding 23 out of 27 at the line. But Tom Cannell, after saying all that, Stow really every bit as fundamentally sound. They're an excellent free throw shooting team. And let's face it, quite honestly, Jackson comes in as a decided underdog in this game. Yet, as you look at our vantage point here at the Civic Center, Jackson has been an underdog in most of these tournament games, and they've come out of the Canton District Tournament.
One thing you're going to see tonight, both of these teams are extremely disciplined teams. So what you're going to see is I think, heady basketball, taking care of the basketball, taking the quality shot. I really don't think you're going to see an up-and-down, high-tempo, up-tempo ball game unless Stow really pushes it. I don't think Jackson will. Larry and I sometimes kid each other about that. He thinks he does do it up-tempo once in a while. You know, they're a better ball club, I think, when they can set up, run their picks, and get their shots, get it down to Bosley on the paint. If you're superstitious, and this is the first time I've seen the Polar Bears in purple. They've been home in the previous game. You know, those are little things you can laugh about it at home when you're watching the ball game. But superstition does play a part in sports, partner.
Two outstanding coaches, Larry Taylor in his 9th season as boss of the Polar Bears, 126 wins, 78 losses, and in crunch time, tournament time, 16-8. Dave Close, his 5th year at Stow, 95 wins, just 23 losses. In the last 2 years, the Bulldogs 44-4. Ironically, the strength for Stow in the backcourt with Kovac at the 2 guard, Chet Feldman running the show. He's back again this year. For Jackson, if they can get the balanced scoring out of their front line that they got against Massillon, Bosley, along with Matt Sharver, our player of the game in the Massillon win, and Troy Herod, as you look at Dave Close of Stow, you know, Jackson, if they can get that balanced scoring up front, that's a bonus for them.
Well, they've got to protect the basketball, get some help from Bosley. We know Bosley's going to get his points because he will get the basketball in his hands a lot. What usually makes Jackson rise or fall is a supporting cast, and who has a pretty good night. I know they've got to be excited to be the opportunity to play Stow. Stow's been right at the top of the AAA all year long.
We're going to pause and be back with the opening tip-off. A boys Division I Canton Regional semifinal, the Bulldogs and the Polar Bears.
If you need a quality used car or truck, head over to Wacom Ford Nissan at 4321 Lincoln Way East in Massillon. Wacom Ford Nissan is having a big end-of-winter sale to clean out the existing inventory of used trucks and cars. Wacom Ford Nissan has all makes and models. They're all Wacom used cars and trucks. Wacom takes the risk out of buying any used vehicle. So if you need an excellent quality used truck or car and you need to save every dollar you can, visit the home of the Wacom Way. Wacom Ford Nissan, halfway between Canada and Massillon. Save the Wacom Way.
It's the Spring Super Sale at Value City, featuring a gigantic $1.5 million bike spectacular. Over 14,000 bikes, something for the entire family. Like these men's and ladies 26-inch bikes or girls 20-inch bike, not $130, your choice, $79.99. These men's and ladies 26-inch bikes, not $140, your choice, $89.99. Or these boys and girls 12-inch bikes, not $50, your choice, $34.99. The best values on bikes are here during the Spring Super Sale at all Value City department stores.
It's tough being a kid sister sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
How about something real special, just for you?
Thanks, Dad.
Nichols, always a friend of the family.
As it warms up outside, Camelot Music is warming up the savings on everything in home entertainment, from the newest laser discs to the hottest music, including the latest from Ugly Kid Joe. America's Least Wanted from Ugly Kid Joe, specially priced now at all Camelot Music stores. And save now with these Camelot specials. Cassettes from $1 and compact discs from $1.44, only at Camelot Music.
Getting ready for action, the starting lineups: Jamie Bosley, Troy Harrod, John Stewart, Joe Nemeth, and Matt Sharber. 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a sophomore for the Polar Bears. For the Bulldogs, Kevin Kovach and Chet Feldman at the guards. Actually, they run a 3-guard setup with Jim Leone as well. And up front, Doug Oliver and Steve Wood. 4 seniors, 1 junior.
And now that I got my Elmer Fudd routine out of the way during the pregame, we can get on with this. Polar Bears will be in the purple. They'll be the visitors on the scoreboard. The white-clad Stow, the home team.
Troy Harrod at 6'5", Steve Wood at 6'5", ready to jump it up. The Bulldogs considered to be one of the odds-on favorites to go all the way, but the Polar Bears will have something to say about that this evening.
Right away, the Polar Bears are into a man-to-man.
The 3-point shot is up and good by Kevin Kovach.
They ran Kovach baseline across the traffic, double screen, and got him free in the corner right away. And here's the defense up tempo by Stow.
Stewart needs some help, finds it in the form of Nemeth. 2 young juniors have their hands full tonight against a pair of experienced Stow guards. Jamie Bosley baseline. Couldn't get it to go, and the rebound comes down to Wood. Leone passed up the 3. Good ball movement. A long 3. Kovach, not this time. Rebound by Stewart. 3-0 Stow, just underway here. And Troy Harrod gets the basketball.
Both teams jumped into man-to-man early. There's a steal and out of bounds.
How about our officials tonight?
John Warden and Randy Johnson will patrol the floor tonight.
Nemeth with Leone all over him. Aggressive man-to-man. Stewart lost the handle, saves it to Harrod. Harrod guarded by Kovach.
Again a near steal. That's going to be backcourt. Nope, they're going to call it a tip.
Sharber needs some help. The scrappy Polar Bears controlling.
Polar Bears just a little tight right now. Ball seems to want to bounce away. A little bit of flubber in it.
Well, a foul might be against Steve Wood, and it is his first.
He's one of the big men.
Well, remember, Tom, you pointed it out. Jackson came out, looked tight against Massillon, fell down early 10-2 and came back.
Well, they've got some experience to draw on, but they still get those butterflies. They need a couple of buckets here to get their feelings set.
Played a minute and a half.
And they had only 1 shot at the bucket. That was by Bosley. And another near steal and a double dribble.
So on the turnover, the Bulldogs will get it, leading 3-0 on a Kovac three-pointer. As you look at Larry Taylor, what a job he has done this year for the Polar Bears, and what a program he's built here at Jackson High School. He doesn't want to take the credit for it, but he's been the main man.
Polar Bears jump back into that familiar zone.
This is Chet Feldman. Oliver drives inside. No. Bosley with the rebound.
Nice move by Oliver, but he hit the bottom of the iron.
And the pass taken away, and Kovac now has 5.
Kovac with something to say to Bosley.
Bodies all over the floor. Bosley coming back, lost control, got it back. Jamie Bosley. Making up for the turnover, 5-2 Stow. He played 2.5 minutes. Leone inside to Wood. This is Oliver. They call a foul.
That'll be on Stewart.
We'll pause. 5:30 to go here, first period.
Simply irresistible.
Toyota Corolla's affordable, and it's been a benchmark in America for 25 years.
Simply irresistible.
Your Toyota dealer invites you to step up to a whole new level of Corolla. New levels of room, safety, performance. Corolla, with definite family influences from Camry and Lexus. For a limited time only, there's a Corolla special lease program. And now more Corollas are being built in America than ever before. Toyota's Simply Irresistible sales event on now.
Hi, I'm John Blakeney.
And I'm Kate Noel. CCI and Ameritech Centrex congratulate the athletes on their achievements this basketball season.
Kate, CCI and Ameritech Centrex have achieved great success at helping local customers fix communication costs.
And hundreds of Ohio Bell businesses realize that Ameritech Centrex can provide new features that improve communication while reducing their telephone bills.
CCI and Ameritech Centrex of Ohio Bell are your communication slam dunk.
For details, call CCI at 497-7715.
A non-shooting foul, so Stow inbounds it. This is Chet Feldman. In the paint, Kovac. So it's Kevin Kovac 7 and the Jackson Polar Bears 2.
Kovac taking all the shots for Stow but one.
Nemeth drives, put it up. Right back. This is how the Bulldogs like to play it. Kovac couldn't get it to go. Inside, Wood draws the foul.
The Stow Bulldogs have taken 6 shots, and Kovac has taken 5 of them. That one comes off and kept alive by Oliver, and he's fouled. Second team foul on the Polar Bears.
Set inbounds play works. Kovac, and with the bucket, Oliver. Vintage Stow basketball. Polar Bears trying to hang in there, down by 5. Errant pass again, goes out of bounds. Let's see which way they call it to the Polar Bears.
There's Dave Close up and barking defensive orders to his Bulldogs. One lone defeat.
And another turnover as the Herod pass is intercepted by Oliver. Leone for 3. No, rebound Bosley. We have our first substitute coming in. Jeff Byrne, a 6'6 junior, will come in for Dave Close. Leone went for the steal. Now Nemeth in trouble, tied up, and they'll call traveling on the Jackson Polar Bears.
Actually, they're going to call traveling after the steal, right.
So they'll call it a steal, but then a traveling call, so a turnover one each way.
Again, the ball just jumping away from the Polar Bears. Not able to maintain control on some of these bounce passes.
Byrne is in. Wood will sit down. Byrne, the 6th man, more or less, although Stow will easily go 10 deep. Bosley found the open man. Stewart couldn't get it to go. They needed that one. Bosley gets it back, puts it up over 2. No. And the tip controlled by Herod. He puts it up. No. Polar Bears are cold in the early going. And the rebound to Byrne. We played 4 minutes here. Kovac along 3. Rim no. Bosley another rebound. He's fouled.
Long three spins out. Bosley with the position. And we've seen all throughout the tournament how he's able to get positioned on the defensive board.
Jason Herzig is in. Greg Hullinger is in for Dave Close's team. Leone, who picked up the personal foul, sits down along with Oliver.
There's a breakaway.
Troy Harrod down court. Lays it in. Troy Harrod averaging 14 per game, his first 2 of the night. And the Stowe lead is down to 3. A blocking foul on John Stewart. We'll pause. 3:42 to go, first period.
Hi, I'm Dave Hansen of Valley Systems, and we're America's proven leader in industrial cleaning technology.
Now's the time to save big on name brand fashions for kids. It's the Spring Super Sale at Value City, featuring an $800,000 special purchase. A beautiful selection of toddler girls and girls' Famous Maker Easter dresses. Not $17 to $32, now 3 great price points, only $9.99, $12.99, and $14.99. And part of a $1 million special purchase. Boys 4 to 20 Famous Maker suits, not $55 to $80, your choice $29.99. During the Spring Super Sale at all Value City department stores.
Did you know that stress and certain vitamin deficiencies can cause hair loss, and that researchers are growing hair in a test tube? When you call Hair Club for Men, we'll send you this information along with Hair Club's own advances in dealing with hair loss.
I wanted something that looked very natural and also looked very natural when I was skiing and when my hair was very wet.
It made me feel old to be going thin at 24.
Hair Club's innovative techniques in dealing with hair loss will give you the confidence you've always wanted.
I did not ask to lose my hair. And for a long period of time, I thought that I would have no choice. And with Hair Club, I do have that choice.
No matter what sport or activity, your new hair will look and feel like your own.
Now that I have a full head of hair, people that haven't seen me in a while, they don't even know I had anything done. It's like totally natural to them.
So call Hair Club for Men and receive our free brochure, along with some tips that may help you keep the hair you have.
I'm not only the Hair Club president, but I'm also a client.
We'll get the blocking foul on Stewart, but Kovacs got away with a push-off. There you took a look at the...
Set 3 by Feldman.
Well, they can shoot it, can't they?
Chet Feldman in the scorebook. Chet averaging 14 points, 9 assists per game. And on that three-pointer, Stowe has doubled the score, 12-6. Bosley found the open man underneath. That's Phil Pendergrass, who's just checked in, the 6th man for the Polar Bears.
Nice assist.
Stowe wasting no time. Ullinger takes it inside, couldn't get it to go. Bosley tips it to Harrod. Jackson with the ball, down by 4 as we approach the 3-minute mark, first period. Bosley double team, lost it, got it back, stolen away. Kovac trying to get the outlet, and he'll hold it up now. Feldman, oh, Bosley, nice move, and Pendergrass comes up with it. Well, Jamie Bosley has been bothered somewhat, and now Harrod has it stolen away. Kovac, 2 shots, no, and now Kovac will pick up the foul.
And a technical. A little demonstrative by Kovac. He's been yakking out there to the players. That time he yacked to the referee. Players can take it, the referees won't.
Well, Feldman came over too and told him to settle down.
Now here's a steal. Now he doesn't have a shot, so he's going to manufacture one. And he's going to pop it again. He's going to try the tip. That doesn't go. Harrod gets the ball. Now watch Kovac. He slams the ball. Wham! And the referee says that'll cost you one.
And Dave Close not happy. And sat down his leading scorer. And Troy Harrod for the technical. 85% free throw shooter. Leaves it short. Second is up and good. Troy in the tournament now. 9 out of 14. And now Jackson will get the basketball. 12-9 the score. Stow up on top. And boy, Stow, I can't say enough about their defense.
Boy, they are sticky. There's hands everywhere.
Into the game, Andy Norman, number 15, replacing Kovac. And they'll call a personal foul on Jason Hersig.
See the 15 foul. Dave Close not in agreement as he's shaking his hand.
I find some irony. You remember Jason Hersig, outstanding football, basketball performer, and in the classroom for the Polar Bears. And now there's a Hersig on the Stow roster.
Herod got there just a step late to have that 3 opportunity.
Sharver at the foul line, got it back to Herod, works it into Bosley, triple team, couldn't get it to go. Bosley with the rebound, put it up, no. Pendergrass got it, he puts it in.
That's a big stick back, 12-11.
Oliver and Wood, the front line, getting ready to check in. Marcus Cates and Stewart getting ready to check in for Larry Taylor's team. Hulliner open momentarily. Leon, the ball stolen away by Troy Herod. And it knocked away beautifully by Leon. Good hustle.
And a nice hustle from behind. Slapped it away, and substitutions abound.
Stewart and Cates will replace Nemeth and Sharver. Oliver and Wood are in. And we'll set the lineups for you in just a moment. In this fast-paced game, there's not much time to do anything but bring you the play-by-play story. It's been that kind of pace. It's a Stow pace, but Jackson hanging in there, down by a point. Herod for 3. Couldn't get it to go. Battle inside Bosley.
How many offensive rebounds have we seen this guy make the last couple of weeks?
Quickly, the 3 is up, no good by Feldman, and Bosley with another rebound.
He owns the glass at 6'1". There's a great pass
to Stewart. I don't know what happened there. Looking for Cates. Larry Taylor knows that opportunity went awry. Sharver and Nemeth are in. Stewart and Cates sit down. You see Larry Taylor doing his coaching.
Larry can pat you on the back, and Larry can chew your face off. That's what coaching's all about.
Move off the glass by Doug Oliver. He's got 4. And with 50 seconds to go, it's Stow by a point. Jamie Bosley, we get the feeling he'll be handling the ball quite a bit here. Be part guard, part forward, right to the hoop. Oh, couldn't get the roll. Feldman coming away with it at the 30-second mark. Going to bounce it inside. Ball knocked away. Herod going after it. Good hustle, Troy Herod. He has 5. It's Jackson by a point, but quickly down court to Leon. He's got to back it up. Jackson got back on defense in the paint. Oh, beautiful move to the hoop. The assist to Wood. Hulliner gets the bucket, his first, and that'll do it. End of 1. Stow 16, Jackson 15.
The Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard. The Polar Bears trail the Stow Bulldogs by a single point in a very physical, very tight first half as far as defensive, or first quarter as far as defensive pressure was concerned. A few turnovers for the Polar Bears early on, and quite honestly, the Bulldogs of Stow, not the same offensive control or sink, as you might say, without Kovac in there. And he had to take a seat for the last 2 or 3 minutes of the quarter.
Well, Jackson has owned the boards thanks in large part to Jamie Bosley, a 13-5 edge. Turnovers, though, the Polar Bears have committed 6 to just 3 for Stow. Not much in terms of foul shooting. Jackson 1 for 2. Stow has yet to go for the line. What about the number of shots taken?
Well, the Bulldogs of Stow took 15 from the field, and the Jackson Polar Bears took 16.
And both made a total of 7. So that's where we stand statistically. Jackson out there, Bosley. Nemeth lost it. Now they'll call traveling, take away the bucket. Chet Feldman thought he had it. Dave Close thought he had it. He's not lining to take off at the Akron-Canton Airport. There's a set in bounds play. Herod. Oh, Hulliner knocked it away. He saved two. Two more bodies on the floor, and as we've seen throughout the district, now into the regionals, for the most part, the referees letting him play.
And I would prefer to see that than the pity pats.
Herod with it. It's Herod, Nemeth, Pendergrass, Bosley, and Sharver. The shot is up. Shot is no good by Nemeth.
Herod over the back.
16 for Stow, 15 for Jackson. Just underway here, second period.
Nemeth rushed that just a little bit. He had time to set.
Stewart in for Nemeth for Larry Taylor's team. It's Hullinger, Oliver, Wood, Feldman, and Leone. Kovac got off to the hot start, but after he picked up the technical, he has not been back in the game.
And, you know, you got to credit Dave Close with some discipline on that move. He's just going to let the young man sit there and think about it for a few minutes.
Oliver picking up some of the slack offensively. He now has 6. Kovac had 7 when he sat down. The Stow lead is 3, and you see the pressure. Here comes Jamie Bosley.
Now it's 3-on-2.
Bosley had the ball stripped away. Battle underneath. Probably have to call a jump ball here. And it looks like it's going to go to Stow. We'll wait and see. Alternate possession.
Jamie forced that action just a little after the drive, and Larry told him just to relax, guys.
We're going to see Steve McAdam.
Well, right away you can see that Stow can play a number of people, and at this juncture of the season, it's excellent.
Now Dave Close has played a total of 10. Oliver going into the locker room. He looks like he's all right. He'll be getting some attention.
Of course, that might have something to do with the new abrasion rule.
I like that. That's a TC original, the abrasion rule. Sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, Saturday night at 11:30 with no stars.
Jason Hersig is in there. Along with Chet Feldman. This is Jim Leone with the basketball. McAdam, who just checked in, and on the turnover, Jackson will get it. 6:45 to go, second period. The Polar Bears down by 3, 18-15.
Well, without Kovac running it, it's not a well-oiled machine. There's that breakaway again.
Herod back, but Stow gets back so well on defense. Bosley being bothered.
Their hands are so quick.
Just incredible. Well, I'll tell you what, that was actually a smart foul because Stow had a 3-on-1 going the other way. We'll pause. 6:34 to go in the period. I don't know, for Doug Oliver, it was more of a wardrobe change. He's out there in a different style jersey wearing number 51. I think that's their road jersey. Not sure why, but we'll play on. Bad news is that Sharver picked up a second foul, but again, he saved what appeared to be a sure breakaway for the Bulldogs.
There's a walk. So the Bulldogs are doing what they can to help the Polar Bears stick around with a few turnovers of their own.
Herod got it to Bosley as Troy was double teamed. Jamie looking for the shot. Can't get it to go, tries to battle for it, lost out on it. Now what?
I think they got Sharver again.
Oh, that's a big foul because that'll be his third.
We'll take a look. Yeah, he just ran into the back of the man dribbling the basketball. The shot by Bosley will be short, comes out deep. He nearly takes another grab at it. Watch Sharver from behind. Right here, runs right into the back of the...
Well, he had the game of his career against Massillon, but here with 3 personal fouls, he'll have to sit down. Cates and Nemeth are in. Stewart and Sharver sit down.
This has been sitting at 18-15 for a long time.
And Sharver gives you so much out there on the court as far as all-around play and leadership mentally. As far as calling out, I believe he calls the defensives, and Troy Herod the offensive. The 3 is up and good. Leone, that's his first bucket. That's the third three-pointer tonight for Stow, and we've got a lot of basketball still to be played. 21-15 the score.
One thing Stow does, they play great defense off the ball. They just deny the ball.
Nemeth drew the foul. Beyond Feldman, he doesn't like it.
Ball will come baseline. And they call Feldman for the reach-in.
He'll sit down. That was just his first personal foul, and Norman is back in. You know, Joe Nemeth, 0 for 1 in the tournaments. That's when he had to come on to shoot one when Bosley had to go out because of the
abrasion rule.
The abrasion rule. Joe Nemeth, 68% foul shooter for the season.
Drained those two down to a 4-point deficit.
And Joe has already matched his season average with 4. Because they're in there for ball handling and defense. Any offense that Jackson guards gives really, in one respect, is a bonus. Went for the steal. Instead, Stow with a chance for the conventional 3-point play. Steve Wood, that's his first bucket.
And it was real nice passing. They find the open man. He makes a nice spin to the bucket, puts it up, gets the reach-in foul. Marcus Cates had him out the top, and
Pendergrass will get the foul.
Gets him for the foul.
His first.
A good ball movement. And a 3-point opportunity is cashed.
Got to give Stow their due as far as their pressure defense, as far as their passing ability. 24-17. Jackson down by 7. Bosley double teamed. And threw it away.
Larry needs a timeout.
And he takes it right here. 5:15 to go, second period. Stow by 7. In the Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard, as you look inside the huddle, and keep in mind, Stow has built this 7-point advantage without their leading scorer, Kevin Kovac. You do have to admire Dave Close. He was not happy. Kovac drew a technical foul, so he sat the young man down. He told me during Monday's tournament meeting that Scott will go 10 deep very easily. You see the Jackson faithful who have followed their team throughout the tournament here. A lot of enthusiasm. Jackson selling out all of their tickets. Stow brought back a couple hundred. Therefore, this game is not a sellout. And I should mention, TC, under rules of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, after 8 years of bringing you live coverage, we're on tape because of the rule now by the OHSAA that says the game must be a sellout before it can be broadcast live. But I'm glad our local advertisers have stuck with us so we can bring you the same night coverage. Leone couldn't get it to go. Cates had it and lost it. Bosley, great hustle, and he got it to Nemeth. And over to Herod. But again, that's Stow pressure.
It's as good a defense as we've seen in a number of years. And there's another steal.
Battle for the ball. Nemeth had it. He got it to Pendergrass, but just like that, Oliver is back. Pendergrass gets it. Now, he has been a force off the bench. He has 6 points. And without Sharver, who's on the bench with 3 personals, it's important for Pendergrass to get into the flow, and he has done so. This is Norman. He gives him a nice spark off the bench.
Throwing it around the zone.
The 3-pointer is up and no good, but underneath, up and good.
Not good boxing out by the Polar Bears.
Steve Wood now with 5, all in this period. You get Doug Oliver in there, and on the turnover, Stow gets it back up by 7 as we're at the halfway point here in this second period. Chet Feldman is back in, and with a new jersey, so too is Doug Oliver. Norman sits down, and so does Wood. Jackson in their zone. So Feldman got a nice breather.
They do a nice job of throwing the basketball around.
Bosley got the tip. Let's see which way they call it as Bosley ends up in the seats. They'll call a jump ball.
And it'll go to Jackson. Just as I say, they do a nice job protecting it. They throw it away, but they do move the basketball very nicely offensively. Tries to throw it cross court. Both players take a swipe as it leaves the playing court. There's another breakaway.
But just like that, back is Stow, but Herod makes him pay for it this time. Troy Herod with 7. That leads the Polar Bears, and the Stow advantage is now 5, 26-21 with 3 minutes 40 seconds to go, second period.
That has been there a couple of times when Stow was a little slow getting back. And the breakaway has hurt the Bulldogs. There's an offensive foul, and a shoulder leaned it in. He just leaned it in and pushed the defensive man back. Give it to Hersig.
His second. Both teams with 17 fouls.
There's another breakaway. We've seen this movie before.
And this time, oh boy, good hustle and ending up in the barricade there, as you saw. Steve McAdam will certainly get an A for effort, and he saved a certain hoop for the Polar Bears. Dave Close looking down his roster. We'll have Jeff Byrne check back in.
This is really good timing by McAdam, because that was going to be a definite layup. And good hustle by the Stow Bulldogs. He tumbled into the barricade. Used to be fans there years ago, but they don't sell those tickets anymore.
I think McAdam is glad they didn't on that occasion.
So was the fan, because he was moving.
Well, Troy will try to split the pair and pick up his 8th point. Best foul shooter for the team during the regular season. He's been up and down a little bit in the playoffs, but he buries that one, no question about it. 10 out of 16 in the tournaments from the foul line. And Troy doing once again his fine job. Oh, nice passing inside in the bucket by Oliver.
Well, they're bringing a man right down the middle of the paint. When they throw it off the wing, he breaks, and they just dish it back.
Bosley needed some help and got it from the center, Marcus Cates. Bosley says, I'll take it, and promptly lost it, and now hustles to get it back, and he gets called for the personal. We'll pause. 3:06 to go in the period. The Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard, it's Stow by 6, and they'll try to add to that. Jeff Byrne, 6'6" junior forward, is at the foul line. That was only Jamie Bosley's first personal foul.
Both teams are in the bonus for the remaining 3:06.
Couldn't get the second one to go. Jamie Bosley's had a monster game on the boards. The pressure, just like with his teammates, has bothered him, but he has played strong off the boards. Good passing this time. Pendergrass makes his move. Baseline. Beautiful move. Bill Pendergrass, averaging 5 points per game, has 8. And just like that, Stow comes back.
Jeff Byrne with a big 3.
He's got 4 in the game. In fact, the last 4 Stow points, and it's an 8-point Bulldogs lead at the 2:30 mark. I mean, Stow has a lot of different players shooting the 3. Bosley for 2, rim no. Byrne, his outlet pass almost picked off by Bosley. Here come the Bulldogs, and they get it back in the hands of their point man, Feldman. Left open, Leone, and the ball blocked by Marcus Cates. Good hustle by Cates, who's getting a lot more playing time with Sharber down with 3 personal fouls. 2 minutes to play. Jackson with the ball down by 8. Dave Close wanted the travel, didn't get it. Stewart with it, guarded by Hulliner. Got it over to Nemeth. He's picked up by Feldman. Bounce past Bosley, just always double team. Stewart open for 3. Nope. Pendergrass battling for the rebound. He might get the personal and does.
There's a shot, comes back short side and over the top.
Pendergrass second. Herod got a nice rest, and Jamie Bosley will get his first breather. And as I say, Jamie's had a monster game on the boards tonight.
Kovac returns. Kovac has been out since about the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. But he definitely is the general offensively for this team.
And Byrne has come off the bench, giving this team an offensive lift. He scored the last 5 points. This would give Stow their biggest lead of the game at 10. No, but Hullinger comes away with the rebound. He'll put up the three. Off the side of the rim, Stow battling for it. Hullinger comes away with it. Somehow he saved a great move in the paint, off the glass, and good for Steve Wood, who's got 7.
Showing a little class.
Stow with 11-point advantage now at the 1:15 mark. Well, if nothing else, Jackson would like to get this deficit into single digits before they go in the locker room and then try to regroup. Cates, the familiar high post for Jackson in terms of their center play. Back out to Troy Herod. Swing it over to Stewart. And they'll call a foul. Might go against Wood. And it does. Holding call. Just like that, Jamie Bosley back in.
Not tremendous size for Stow, with Wood at 6'5", Oliver 6'5", and Jeff Byrne at 6'6". Those are the 3 big men. But very fundamentally sound and play great defense.
Marcus Cates, one of those multi-sports performers. Couldn't get that one to go. His first trip to the line in the tournament. Stow with the ball in an 11-point lead. And they throw it away.
Into the second row, the Jackson faithful. Trying to get Kovac over there in the corner. Larry Taylor tells him what he wants him to do offensively. First thing we could do is get it in.
They threw it away right to the Stow player. Couldn't get it to go. Battling for it. Bodies all over the place. Cates comes away with it.
Yeah, we saw a little preview this the other night. They had a couple of tough times.
Pendergrass is all alone, but they didn't see him, and now Stow back. Bosley triple teamed. Needs some help. Got it to Herod. He'll take it to the hole.
Made something out of that one. But the Bears the other night had trouble getting the ball in. They had 1 5 call and 1 timeout.
Kovac makes his move. Drew the foul. No, offensive foul. Leone ready to check in.
Kovac, head fake, gets the baseline. He jumps into Cates.
And Kovac is back on the bench. Here's that set play, but this time it's Jamie Bosley, and that shot knocked out of bounds. Great hustle, great defense, Jeff Byrne.
I thought Bosley, if they ever give a head fake, these guys are going to sail all the way to the stands, and then they can lay it in. All ball.
And Sharver's back in. This is a little bit of a risky move by Larry Taylor. Just 11 seconds to go, but Sharver has 3 fouls. Wood sits down, and Oliver back in for Dave Close's crew. Jackson down by 9. Got it to Sharver. Good ball handler. Try to get it back to Bosley out of bounds. Good hustle by Hulliner. 9 seconds to go. Well, we'll see.
You haven't seen Bosley loose along the paint like we've seen in previous games.
No, he's been held in check offensively. Herod may have to put it up. 4, 3. Got it to Bosley. 2, 1. Somebody's got to shoot it. Bosley puts it up. No. And we've got half of this ball game in the books. The score is Stow 35, Jackson 26. Midway point of halftime festivities here, 35-26 the score. Tell you what we're going to do. We'll pause for these words of interest and be back with the first half numbers right after this timeout. Bulldogs by 9. Talked at the outset about Kovac and Feldman, the great guard tandem for Stow, averaging 40 points per game. They've been held to a combined total of 10. The problem is the front line has come through. Doug Oliver with 8, Steve Wood with 7, and off the bench, Jeff Byrne with 5. For the Polar Bears, Troy Herod a strong first half with 10, and Phil Pendergrass very strong off the bench. He had 8. The leading scorer, Jamie Bosley's been held to 4. Joe Nemeth has his season average of 4. But John Stewart is scoreless. Matt Sharver is scoreless, and he has 3 personals. Marcus Cates is scoreless. As you look at the team numbers, Stow shooting 52% from the floor, 14 out of 27. Jackson 11 out of 27, 41%. In the battle of the boards, 16-11. So Stow pulling closer, TC, in that category.
Down on the floor at halftime, a lot of fans impressed with the abilities of the Stow team.
Bosley corrals the air ball.
Of course, you're not number one in this state in Division I for nothing, but you know, a lot of people didn't think they were this adept. Oh, and there's a charge. And they didn't play their best game against the Bulldogs mid-season up at the field house.
Yeah, you saw that game. That was Jamie Bosley's second foul.
Bulldogs, I think, won that game by about 6. But their intensity level is much higher tonight.
Stow Bulldogs on a mission, trying to prove on the court what a lot of people are saying on paper, that they are the best team in the state of Ohio.
Well, they have all the ingredients to be that.
Nice move, but no shot, or no goal, we should say, by Oliver, but Stow gets it back. They're a scrappy bunch on top of everything else they do so well. Wood, no. Oliver, tip, no. Rebound to Sharber. Got it to Bosley. Hulliner all over him. Over to Stewart. Jackson with the ball, down by 9, just underway, third period. And another turnover. Wood took it away. Feldman. Oh, beautiful move. Feldman with the assist, and the bucket goes to Oliver.
Feldman went flying into the photographers. Oliver had a layup. Again, not getting it over. And turning it over. Couldn't get the ball in.
Jackson, a very smart basketball team, but they've had their hands full with Stow. They've been bothered like we haven't seen them bothered all season long.
And I think that's a good word. Bothered is the right word there, Scott. They have had a hand in their face and a body on their hip all night long. There hadn't been many free passes. Feldman on the drive. Tosses it up. That's the first foul on Nemeth. Nice pass.
Leone.
I think Leone didn't realize how open he was.
Ball is loose. Official right there and gives it to Stow.
Well, with the fans as close as they are on both sides of the floor, the poor guy in the stripes can't win. He's going to get a little boo flat from one side.
Foul will go against Nemeth.
There's a block. So quickly, 3 team fouls on the Polar Bears.
Leone to trigger. Kovac opens this second half on the bench. Feldman with the bucket.
So Feldman with a nice assist and 5 again.
Larry Taylor needs time. Timeout on the floor. 6 minutes, 12 seconds to go, third period. Stow, their biggest lead of the game, 13. Biggest margin to date on the Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard. The Bulldogs of Stow by 13. Tonight's winner meets the winner of tomorrow night's game between Akron Firestone and Chillicothe. We're anxious to take a look at Firestone, who reached the Final Four a year ago. An outstanding multi-talented point guard in Scott Gooden. Andre Smith, the son of former Cavaliers standout Bingo Smith. And maybe TC can find Bingo in the crowd tomorrow night
we
for
may
a
just do that
interview. Those are the 2 leaders, along with 6'6" center David Ruffin. And the Chillicothe team that actually has a better record than Firestone. Firestone 18-5, Chillicothe 19-4. Their leading player, number 44, Ryan Brown, a 6'6" junior center named Capital Conference Player of the Year. So we've got some more marquee players and a good matchup tomorrow night at 10:30 on your local sports station. Of course, we'll have the finals on Saturday. Also at 10:30 airtime.
Bulldogs content to throw it around the perimeter to the zone.
I remember them taking this much time to get a shot off. That's how quick they've been. Feldman feed it outside for the open shot. Rim no by Oliver. And Jackson with it. Troy Harrod bringing it up to Nemeth. But again, Stow doing their best to bother the Polar Bears.
Oh, got away with a walk.
So Jackson trying to get it into their offensive scheme of things.
Well, they overplay the defense so nicely There's just no passing lanes. Even when they got that pass off, there was a man on the hip. He was called for the foul.
Second personal on Leone.
But they tried to deny everything to the Polar Bears tonight.
Phil Pendergrass, who had a strong first half with 8 points off the bench, checks in, and Herod sits down for Jackson. 5.5 minutes to go, third period. Jackson looking for their first points of this third period. Look at Bosley, double team. Tries to get through, lost the ball. Ball loose on the floor. Jamie got it back and threw it out of bounds. Ball went one way, Stewart went the other. Another turnover.
He threw it where he thought Stewart was B, but Stewart was coming over to help out.
18 turnovers in the game for the Polar Bears.
And they haven't had that many sometimes in a month.
Strong move inside, but he couldn't get the shot to go, talking about Steve Wood. And Jackson with another opportunity.
Well, defense is what got the Polar Bears here. Their tenacious defense has been outstanding all year, and they're getting a little taste of their own medicine here tonight from the Bulldogs.
Pendergrass, a wide open three.
Ching, and he jumps right to the top of my list.
For our CCI Ameritech Player of the Game Award, one player each team, handsome plaque and certificate from our friends at CCI. And of course, Rick Lutz, a big Jackson fan. He won't like that shot. I mean, a deep three by Hulliner, who has 5 off the bench.
Well, Namath fell down, couldn't get back out on defense, and Hulliner's going to get a block on the inbound. Second team foul for the Bulldogs in this second half.
42-29 the score. 4 minutes, 31 seconds to play here in the period. Namath sits down.
Yeah, to suffice it, I don't think this is what Larry drew up on the board at halftime.
And there they got to the open man, Sharver. And again, here comes the trap. Got it to Herod. Open, Pendergrass, same spot. Not this time. And battle for the board. If it's against Sharver, it's his 4th. And it is.
Rebound comes out, and the collision is made.
Jason Hersig is in, and sitting down is Doug Oliver, and he's been impressive with 10 points tonight.
Cates is at the scorer's table. I'm sure he'll be coming for Sharver at the next dead ball.
Sharver has to be careful. One more, and his work is done for this evening. He's in kind of the same spot Maurice Cunningham of Massillon was. Hullinger couldn't get the roll, almost got it on the second bounce. Herod comes away with it. Almost lost the top of his uniform there for a minute. Herod almost threw it away. Nice save, Pendergrass. But now he throws it away. Stewart, good hustle. Ball loose on the floor. It's off of Jamie Bosley. Marcus Cates is in, and Sharver will sit down with 4 personal fouls.
That was really good hustle by Steve Wood. He bounced it back right off of Bosley's knees. They're both going for it here. Watch the nice flip back, and right off of Bosley's knee and out of bounds.
Well, I came in tonight remembering Kovac and Feldman from a year ago and very impressed with their play. But I come away even more impressed by Stow as a team, and that's not a cliche.
Well, how many players of the ilk of Kovac could miss almost an entire game and see their team just running away?
And now they're trying to get three-point practice. Not this time, and foul going over the back on Hullinger. 3.5 minutes to go here. Jackson trying to hang in, but down by 13.
It's the Spring Super Sale at Value City, featuring a gigantic $1.5 million bike spectacular. Over 14,000 bikes, something for the entire family. Like these men's and ladies 26-inch bikes or girls 20-inch bike, not $130, your choice, $79.99. These men's and ladies 26-inch bikes, not $140, your choice, $89.99. Or these boys and girls 12-inch bikes, not $50, your choice, $34.99. The best values on bikes are here during the Spring Super Sale at all Value City department stores.
As it warms up outside, Camelot Music is warming up the savings on everything in home entertainment, from the newest laser discs to the hottest music, including the latest from SWV. Enjoy Enjoy the savings on It's About Time from SWV, specially priced now at all Camelot music stores. And save now with these Camelot specials, cassettes from $1 and compact discs from $1.44, only at Camelot Music.
And almost on cue, as my partner mentioned the name of Kevin Kovac, he's back in. He should be well rested.
It's going to be an offensive foul on Herod, trying to clear out to get the inbound pass. But the adventure has really been put in the inbound pass by the Bears the last couple of ball games.
7 turnovers in this period for Jackson.
Very uncharacteristic, as we mentioned previously, but it's just a very fundamentally good team that they're up against.
I see Stow's gone a little cold from the field now, so Jackson with the opportunity, a little too aggressive there. Might be Hersig with the foul.
42, Jason Hersig does get it.
Just like that, Oliver's been an offensive force inside, is coming back in.
But aggressive is the right word. They have been in your face tonight.
Well, and the officiating that we've seen down here plays into that.
That's the style, exactly right. But the Polar Bears are not opposed to a physical contest. That's the way they like to play as well.
See, just like that, Herod's in all sorts of trouble. Got it to Stewart. Norman just flying all over the floor, literally. Pendergrass got the handle, tried to pass it to Kate, stolen away, another turnover for Jackson. Feldman, smart enough, drew the foul. That was a heady play by the Stow point guard.
Feldman just splits the defense. Puts it up strong, and the reach in from behind by Cates.
And Stewart now has 3 personal fouls, but it's Pendergrass who's going to sit down as Nemeth is back in. So the starting 5 minus Sharver, who's on the bench with 4 personal fouls, is in. So on top of everything else going wrong for the Polar Bears, they're getting into some foul trouble. Sharver with 4, Stewart with 3. Chet Feldman, 14 points, 9 rebounds a game, 47 points in 3 tournament games. With a high in the tournaments of 27 against Youngstown Cheney. He'll try to split the pair and pick up his 6th point. Stow have really been strangers at the foul line. 4 out of 7 as a team. But they've got their biggest lead of the game at 14 points.
Oh, there's a story of the Jackson night. A wide open Nemeth under the bucket, and Herod missed him on the lead pass.
Well, it may be St. Patrick's Day, but it may feel more like Halloween the way things are going here.
Hot is the night for the green.
Kovac, double team, no. Burns did not save it. But again, good hustle, and Dave Close appreciates the efforts of number 43. Leone wants to check in. And Feldman will get a breather. .43 for Stow, 29 for Jackson. Here's that inbounds play, but look how they get back on defense. Herod
gets it to go. That's the first bucket in a long time for the Polar Bears.
Well, they've only their 2nd of this period. Pendergrass had the 3 early, and now this one. Norman almost put up a long 3. This is Leone with it. Kovac, nice feed inside. Doug Oliver. He's got a dozen, and that leads Stow.
Polar Bears worked so hard to get the ball down and get their shots off, and Stow so smooth. They've been getting some pretty good shots. That was a great cross lane pass by Kovac.
And again, really making Jackson work, and Jackson's basically a 7-man team as far as a rotation for Larry Taylor, and even though they're very well conditioned, it's got to take its toll physically.
Another 5. Got to be frustrating for the Bears fans across the way. They haven't had much to cheer about most of the night.
Now, you talk about Stow's offense and the 94 points per game, but much more impressed with their defense here tonight. That's been the story.
I think that's what has impressed me and some of the people at halftime. Their quick hands and their ability to deny Jackson the next pass. And we have a foul on Oliver.
I think Oliver has to be a strong candidate for our CCI award on the Stow side. His work inside, and again, almost a 5-second count, but Herod got it in, got it back now from Bosley.
Herod got himself tangled up there and turned it over.
Anybody who's had a rough day at the office can relate to what the Jackson Polar Bears are going through. TC and I were joking. He had kind of a tough day at the office. Worked a lot of long hours getting ready for these broadcasts for you, so we can relate to what Jackson's going through. And there's a bucket and a foul. Jeff Byrne.
That time they took advantage of the 6'6" Burns height advantage.
Well, he's given them the lift off the bench tonight that Phil Pendergrass has given Jackson.
1:44 remaining in the third. Stretched it out now to 16 points.
Byrne 2 out of 4 from the free throw line, make it 3 out of 5. He's got 10 points off the bench tonight. Boy, if Stewart had picked up a charge there, would have been his 4th. This time the officials say play on. And there's a push in the back by Leone. He knew it.
He just got there at the time Namath stopped.
48 for Stow, 31 for Jackson. Leone's 3rd personal foul, but the way Stow rotates players in and out, not as much of a factor. Now what do we have?
Larry was touching up the one of the officials, and he's going to get himself a tee.
Yep. Well, each team now has picked up a tee.
I was going to say, one apiece. The man going to shoot this one is the man who encountered the last one.
Kovac is the best free throw shooter. You know, he had 51 points, a school record against, guess who? Akron Firestone, the team we're going to see tomorrow night. Now, I'm told that was Firestone's opener in the 2nd game of the year for Stow, so a lot's changed since then.
51 points, it's got to be like thrown into a garbage can. Yeah. You can't miss. You make 51 points, you must hit everything. Timeout on the floor.
1:35 to go here in the period. Stow's biggest lead of the game, 19 points. Well, Stow is on a 15-5 run in this 3rd period, and that's why that lead now is up to 19.
No timeout. The officials came over to try to find out who called the timeout, and they couldn't hang it on either team, so there will not be a timeout. The referee's explaining it to now the Stow bench. So
now maybe it's not an official timeout, but both teams got a breather.
That's
anyway.
Right, and so did we. 50-31. Who'd have thunk it?
Three is up, no good. Bosley with the rebound. Strong on the boards tonight, but Jamie's been held to 4 points.
And he's earned those 4.
See if he can make it 6. But he's right back there and drew the foul. Oliver. Look at the personal.
I'll tell you what, for a kid 6'1", this guy gets a share of rebounds. This will come right back to him. As he puts it up, the reach in is by Oliver.
Wood is in, Oliver sits down. Doug sits down with a dozen. Steve Wood is back in with 7. So they've gotten good play. The two start side by side, and then the way the rotation develops for Dave Close, at least in this game, he alternates the two, keeps them fresh. Good look at Jamie Bosley. Yep, it's been that kind of night. He was 28 out of 32 in the tournaments, which I really feel is phenomenal at crunch time. 80% overall on the season. He'll try to split the pair. And does so. Jamie with 5. An 18-point Stow lead with 1 minute, 10 seconds to go, 3rd period. Leone, no. Stow, even with all their points, has gotten it more on defense than on their outside shooting here tonight. It's been the Stow defense. That's been the storyline. That's the headline. Polar Bears just trying to cut into the deficit. Herod, a whistle before the shot.
We got to go on Leone again. Leone, 41.
Might be his 4th. It is. First Stow player to get 4. Sharver's been on the bench for most of this third period with 4 personal fouls. Norman will step in. Andy Norman, who's just a sophomore.
I want to remind everybody to check their Sunday edition of the Free Press. We'll have the 92-93 Free Press WOAC TV67 Canton District Boys Division I All-Star team.
And a different twist this year. Put together a full roster.
We have 9 on the team, and we have 8 honorable mentions.
And our selection as Coach of the Year. If you think we're going to tell you right now who's on that team,
I don't
no
want
way.
David Richard chasing me.
Yeah, we thank Dave for being part of this again. I believe our 3rd year of picking a team.
You talk about a guy that puts in some hours.
That's right.
Dave Richards does get around.
50-34 the score. Stow with the ball and the 16-point advantage. Kovac for 3. Nothing but net.
Been a while since he put one up and in.
Second 3-pointer. A dozen points overall, 5 in the period. 19-point lead. Stewart. Nope. See, I don't know if Stow has it in their offensive system to play for one shot, not with their high-powered offense. I think they'll take it as soon as they get an open shot. Kovac almost took it. We're down to 15 seconds. Norman. Kovac, another 3, just short. Didn't miss it by much. Herod has it. Jackson really needs a bucket here. 5, 4, 3. Nice pass. Herod to Stewart. Drew the foul at the 2-second mark. Fouls on Norman.
I'm sure Dave close up holding his arms. I'm sure he doesn't want really to see this kind of a foul with 2 seconds remaining. Not much of an opportunity for Norman to really do much as far as preventing the layup, other than to take the foul, which he did.
John Stewart, 66% from the foul line for the year. 6-foot junior, 1 out of 2 in the tournaments. Phil Pendergrass getting ready to check in. Troy Herod. Herod sits down with 12. Pendergrass strong off the bench with 11. Those are the only 2 players in double figures for Jackson. And Stewart got the roll and has his first 2 points. The shot goes up and a little bit short. 3 periods of play in the books. Stow 53, Jackson 36.
Simply irresistible. It's Toyota's Simply Irresistible sales event. Your Toyota dealer invites you to check out Camry. Simply irresistible. Camry, one of the 10 best cars you can own. Camry, the best car built in the U.S. Simply irresistible. The incredibly quiet, comfortable, powerful Camry. It's Toyota quality at its best. Simply irresistible. So hurry and see your Toyota dealer now, because Toyota deals are just simply irresistible.
Time to save big on name brand fashions for kids. It's the Spring Super Sale at Value City, featuring an $800,000 special purchase. A beautiful selection of toddler girls and girls' famous maker Easter dresses. Not $17 to $32. Now 3 great price points. Only $9.99, $12.99, and $14.99. And part of $1 million special purchase. Boys 4 to 20 famous maker suits. Not $55 to $80. Your choice $29.99. During the Spring Super Sale at all Value City department stores.
The Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard with a big crocodile tear as the Jackson Polar Bears trail 53-36 to the top-ranked Stow Bulldogs, and I think well-documented top-ranked throughout the year. They only lost to the Bulldogs of McKinley here mid-season by 6.
Yeah, trying to do our share of the stats here. The man we call Zeke, who's helping us out on stats tonight, his numbers are the most amazing. Jackson, twice as many rebounds as Stow, 28-14. The problem from the local angle, Jackson just over twice as many turnovers, 25 turnovers to a dozen for the Bulldogs. And again, we're not going to harp on the turnovers. We know these are high school athletes, and they're going to make their mistakes. This is an on-the-job learning experience.
It's a pressure defense.
Yeah,
pressure
it's
defense
more
will
positive. It's more positive for the Stow defense. Harrod for three. Oh,
that was everywhere. Oh my!
Oh!
I think he tried to bounce it off him out of bounds.
And it worked.
And Nemeth caught it. This is pretty good. He's trapped. Kovac, he says, I'll throw it off this one. And Nemeth says, well, I think I'll just keep it here. But he rolled onto the... and Larry Taylor thought Kovac fired that a little bit.
Yep. Kovac, nice feed off to Norman. Norman has kind of an interesting shot, almost an old-fashioned, two-handed push shot, lack of a better term, his first two. He had 12 points off the bench against Austintown Fitch in the Struthers District title game. Nemeth.
Kovac with a little Olay defense that time, let him run by.
And Norman can't control it. Well, we'll see what happens here. Jackson needs a lot of points, though. 7 minutes to play and down by 17.
They need to turn the three shooters loose.
There's that inbounds play. Bosley really is going to have to catch up with it and does so. Now they'll call a blocking foul against the Bulldogs. It'll be on Norman, his second.
And we'll be in the bonus the rest of the way for both teams. Nice save by Bosley. He turns it inside, and there you see Norman giving him the hip.
We talked about that stat that Todd Krebs gave us. When Jackson makes 10 free throws, or under 10 free throws in a game, they're 0-4. Maybe the one exception. The only exception, when they make 10 or more, they're 18-1. The only loss, ironically, to Canton McKinley. Bosley, after missing his first, is now 4 out of 5 from the line, an amazing 32 out of 37 in the tournament. With a 33 out of 38. He's got 9 points, and the Stow lead is cut down to 15. You see Jackson turning up the D a little bit, but Kovac with 3.
Well, that'll turn a comeback around in a hurry.
Yeah, Kovac beginning to catch fire now. Three three-pointers. He had 35 in the win over Youngstown Cheney in the tournaments. Not sure why the delay, but we're ready to go now. 6:49 to play, and just like that, the lead's back up to 18, and here comes the pressure.
And they have run this pressure all night long.
Bosley drew the foul.
That'll be on Oliver. I mean, I don't remember 1 or 2 times that they've dropped back and let Jackson bring the ball up. Again, they're starting to trap, and coming up from behind, Oliver just cuts the lane off and knocks Bosley down. He'll go to the line to shoot 1 plus the bonus.
Well, if Bosley can knock down these two, that'll be a dozen foul shots made by Jackson, so that string may be broken here because Jackson is still down by 17. That was a 3rd foul on Oliver. Hulliner ready to check in, and here he comes.
In for Norman.
5 in the game, and Norman sits down and bucket for 2.
Norman, just a sophomore, getting a little bit valuable experience here in the tournament.
This is the year that graduation will hit Stow very hard, so you could really say this is their year to try to go the distance.
Well, I like their chances.
Out of that 10-man rotation, they do have 4 underclassmen. Watch out. Nope. But look at the man inside, Doug Oliver.
Actually, I've been really impressed with Oliver's play tonight.
Harrod in trouble, gets out of it, throws the ball away. Jackson wants time. Don't know if they'll get it, though. Yes, they will. 6 minutes. Nope. Stand by. Nope, not this time because Stow has the basketball. Now they get it. Okay, 6 minutes, 21 seconds to go, an 18-point Stow lead. Jackson assistant coach Gary Jones is talking to the troops this time. I don't know if Gary has a little Irish blood in him.
Well, they're going to need a lot of Blarney out of his lips if they're going to do anything here. They're down 18. And it's just not been their night. It's a tough night to throw a clinker in against the #1 team in the state.
Well, I wanted to wait for the appropriate time to give you this stat, TC, and maybe now's the time. At least I won't be accused of jinxing the Starr County entry. We've been real blessed here. And you know, it's been, for the last 12 years, whoever has won the Canton District has managed to win the first tournament game and at least reach the regionals. We knew coming in tonight that streak was on the line, big time. Blocking foul. It's against Stewart. It's his 4th. So Sharver and Stewart would both have 4.
Ball will come sideline. Stewart moving with him. Really doesn't ever establish defensive position. So Jay Spitali, the local golf pro in the stands now. He doesn't miss many. No, usually this time of the year, though, he's down the woods in Carolina trying to find his drive.
Sure.
That'll cost me.
Feldman couldn't get the foul shot to go. But again, the swarming Stow defense. Bosley in the paint, yes, counting a foul. The foul will go against Steve Wood.
Bosley again working hard. He has to go through bodies. Call the blocking foul and put Bosley at the line.
Well, Jamie held to 4 in the first half, has 9 in the second half, but again, big mountain to climb for the Polar Bears. If he hits this, Jackson will be down by 15. 3rd personal foul on Steve Wood. Jamie Bosley has made 8 consecutive foul shots. Boy, Feldman did a nice job corralling that pass. Gets it over Kovac, all alone underneath Hullinger.
Kovac has really good peripheral vision to fire that ball off the pass. He just touched it.
Hullinger was 7 off the bench. 17-point lead. Jackson will keep it. 5:45 to play here.
It's interesting to hear what Tom Chain said at halftime about the fact that this looked like a 500 type year would be a good year for the Polar Bears, and boy, have they exceeded that.
Yeah, everybody's got to keep that in mind. Expectations were not that high at the start of the season. But Jackson has a share of the Federal League title. They've got a Canton District title. No one can take that away from them. Harrod's going to get that back. Because Jackson, as you would expect, working hard. Troy Harrod, no. Bosley knocked it away. Nemeth in the paint, yes. Joe Nemeth, averaging 4 per game, has 8. Stow will keep it. Jackson fans don't like the call, neither does Larry Taylor. The Stow lead is 15 at the 5:17 mark. Persig getting ready to check in for Dave Close's crew.
Number 42.
And Wood sits down. He's got 7.
Stow expanded on a halftime lead out to about a dozen. They've pretty much held it between 15 and 12 most of this second half.
Headed up as high as 19 at the 1:30 mark, 3rd period. Right now it's 15.
They're going to throw the ball around outside the zone. And they're going to get Oliver with a clear out. Dave Close hands on head. Trying to take time off the clock and bring him out of the zone, and Oliver is fighting for position that really didn't mean much.
He's got 4 now. So Oliver with 4. I believe Leone has 4 for Stow. Stewart and Sharver each with 4 fouls for Jackson. And it'll be Sharver at the line. 7 out of 8 in the tournaments, including 6 for 6 in the win over Massillon. Matt is a 69% foul shooter on the season. Well, if there's one way Jackson could get back into this game, would be at the foul line, because it stops the clock. And, of course, Jackson is the best Starr County free throw shooting team that we've seen in our travels. And, of course, as soon as I say that, famous Davis jinx off the leg of the Stow player. So, 14 points down, 5 minutes to play. Jackson with the basketball. Jackson's starting 5 is out there. Little give and go. Harrod to Bosley. Bosley, 16 points. Kovac, no. As good as a pass. to Doug Oliver.
Kovac forced that one. Oliver came and cleaned it up.
Oliver with 16. Bosley the other way, puts up a runner, no. Blocking foul against Stow and Hersig. Dave Close wants a timeout. 4 minutes, 38 seconds to go. We'll see if he gets it first. They're going to ring up the foul. Well, Dave asked for it again, and this time he gets it. 4:38 left to be played here. Jackson down by 14.
If you need a quality used car or truck, head over to Wacom Ford Nissan at 4321 Lincoln Way East in Massillon. Wacom Ford Nissan is having a big end-of-winter sale to clean out the existing inventory of used trucks and cars. Wacom Ford Nissan has all makes and models. They're all Wacom used cars and trucks. Wacom takes the risk out of buying any used vehicle. So if you need an excellent quality used truck or car and you need to save every dollar you can, visit the home of the Wacom Way. Wacom Ford Nissan, halfway between Canada and Massillon. Save the Wacom Way.
Hi, I'm Dave Hansen of Valley Systems, and we're America's proven leader in industrial cleaning technology.
The Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard. Stow by 14. Jackson trying to make a run. Down at 1 point by 19, so they've whittled it away, but now they're playing both the Bulldogs and the clock. 4:38 to go. Stow has 3 players now with 4 personals apiece. Hersig just picked up his 4. Jackson has 2 players with 4 personal fouls, Sharber and Stewart, but that's kind of offset by the fact that Stow plays 10 and Jackson plays 7, so that's another number. It's almost a wash.
On a night tonight where you're dogged every time you move the basketball, the Polar Bears have got to be huffing and puffing. I mean, they have not had one easy trip up the floor other than the few breakaway touchdown passes.
Jamie Bosley, 8 out of 9 from the foul line, 16 points in the game, 36 out of 41 from the foul line in this tournament. He'll get 2 here. Yeah, Jamie's turned up the 0 in the second half after being held to 4. Can't say enough about his board work tonight. And remember, he still has 2 more years at Jackson. Oh, just like that, Stow back. Bosley, he got his money's worth there. That would have been assured, too. Great passing by Stow. Norman will go to the line.
Bosley gets over a little late. He goes up to block it, and I mean, he wants to block it with authority, and he's given, Norman's given a few pounds away.
All right, let me correct myself. Hulliner, 45, not Norman, 15.
He's still giving a few pounds away to Bosley.
Tom and I talking before the game, no excuse, but with the white number, or with the white jerseys and the yellow numbers, a little bit tough to see these Stow uniforms. You know, Bill Heichel asking the people to refrain from throwing anything on the court. That'll cost the team a technical.
Keep your change in your pocket.
Hulliner, another one of those players strong off the bench tonight, looking for his 9th point. First time to the free throw line. Bosley's 3rd personal foul, if you're keeping track. As we approach the midway point here in this 4th and final period, Stow is up by 14. Stewart. Herod for 3. Troy Herrod's first 3. 15 points in the game. The lead is 11. Hasn't been this close in quite a while. Now Stow, Larry Taylor's saying, I believe, stay in the zone, and Stow pulling it out. Now, Larry Taylor says, move out. Just under 4 minutes to play. All right, now trapped in the corner. Stewart had it. Gets it back. No call. Boy, gutsy play by Stewart with 4 personal fouls. Harrod had it knocked away from behind. Got it right back. Call a blocking foul on Jackson. On Nemeth.
That would be on Nemeth. Again, taking a sideline, and Nemeth just cut him off at the pass.
Here's Jackson's run. Here's their chance right here. You can feel it. And the Jackson fans now are right back in this game. Wood is in. Oliver sits down. That was Nemeth's third. They've got Bosley with 3 personals, Nemeth with 3, Stewart with 4, Sharber with 4. So that's going to be a problem for the Polar Bears.
Well, the bigger problem is going to be putting some threes through with 3:29 to go. They're going to have to hope for some bad bullseye work at the foul line by Stow down the stretch here.
Shooting into the Jackson crowd. They missed by Feldman. The Stow lead is 9. At one point it was 19. Bosley lost it. Call a foul on Sharber. He's done. Matt Sharber, our player of the game against Massillon.
He doesn't realize it's 5 yet.
I'm not sure Larry Taylor does either yet. Matt, co-captain. His value to this team, you don't measure in stats. You don't measure in numbers. And now it'll be up to his teammates. So this won't be his final game at Jackson High School, the 6-foot senior. It will be Marcus Cates replacing him. And as you said, you saw Larry earlier intently talking to one of the players, and now it's time for the pat on the back.
Bulldogs trying to help him out.
Yep. This is un-Bulldog-like. The difference is 9. Bosley went through one man, put it up, no, air ball.
He can't do it by himself.
There again, he's just a sophomore. That shot was at the 3-minute mark. Pendergrass, he'll need his offense. Foul on Nemeth, and that'll be his 4th. Troy Harrod, the senior, with words of advice and encouragement for Bosley, the sophomore.
Well, let's take a look at our players of the game candidates here, partner.
Well, I think we'll agree the choice for Stow is a pretty solid one for the work of Doug Oliver.
I would agree with you 100%.
16 points. Leone won't let that opportunity go by. He's got 4.
There you take a look at the fine award that goes to the player of the game.
Pendergrass with 11 off the bench. Nemeth has 8, which is twice his average. And let's also mention Harrod, who grabbed that rebound. Breaking away, Pendergrass.
Down to 8.
And I think Phil Pendergrass is our choice for a strong effort tonight off the bench. So congratulations to Doug Oliver, Phil Pendergrass, our CCI Ameritech Centrex players of the game. Phil with 13. Starter beginning of the year. Hurt, came back, moved in the role of the 6th man, has played that superbly here this evening. 8-point Stow lead, 2:20 to play.
Who do you foul, partner?
Hard to say. I wouldn't want to put Feldman or Kovach there, although numbers tonight might be a little different. Feldman just 1 out of 4. Oh, look at that move. Oh, couldn't get it to go. That's maybe a break for Jackson.
And it's called a intentional foul, so they'll get the ball out as well.
That's not a break for Jackson.
One thing to deny it, the other to push him in the back, so obviously, and this is not poorly, or not very well hidden by Pendergrass. He just gives him a shove.
It's his 3rd, but Potential for a 4, maybe a 5-point play for Stow. Steve Wood, 1 out of 1 foul line in the game. He's averaging 11 points. I should say he had 11 points and 10 rebounds in the district clincher against Fitch. Got the roll there. He's got 8 in the game. On the season, 10 points and 8 rebounds per game.
Well, it was the third quarter that did the Polar Bears in. Now the Bulldogs will get it inbound and maintain possession with a 10-point lead at the 2:05 mark.
Well, TC will be down on the floor at the end of the game. Don't know who he'll have at this present time. Well, Stow wants timeout. Smart move by Kovac as he was double teamed. If nothing else, Tom, to give us his perspective of the game from the floor here at the Civic Center. Well, back here tomorrow night, 10:30 airtime. Akron Firestone, the Akron district winner, and Chillicothe, the Athens district winner. Chillicothe 19-4, Firestone 18-5, and if this lead holds true for Stow, the winner gets the Stow Bulldogs on Saturday night. Again, we'll have that at 10:30. Want to mention a couple things in case you're interested in coming down and seeing the action firsthand. Number one, remember, this game tomorrow night originally scheduled for Tuesday night, so on many schedules it may not be there, but that was because of the snows, a heavy storm over the weekend. And a special start time Saturday afternoon. That's a 4 o'clock tip instead of the standard 7 or 7:30 tip. That's a change the state made as well this year. Want to say good luck to a lot of other local teams. And we'll work that story in as we go along. Tomorrow night to the Louisville Leopards. They've got a tough challenge up in Akron against two-time defending state champion Villa Angela St. Joe's. They won the Division I crown 2 years ago, knocking off the Perry Panthers along the way, then slipped to Division II as far as enrollment goes, but came back with another title. Also, good luck to Wyndham tomorrow night at the Fieldhouse, 6:15 tip-off, a Division IV matchup against New Regal, and good luck to the 3 area girls teams that'll be in state semifinal competition in Columbus. In Division I, Worcester takes on Milford Friday night at 9. Division II, Orville versus West Holmes, 2 area schools. That'll be Friday at 2, and in Division III, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary against Sherwood Fairview. And that'll be tomorrow night at 7. The foul's on Nemeth. He is gone. That's his 5th personal foul. Well, Joe Nemeth had a strong offensive game tonight with 8, and of course he'll be back next year.
Now that is the end of Larry's bench. That's 7.
Marcus Cates is in. Cates, Stewart, Bosley, Herod, and Pendergrass. The Stow lead is 10, 1:46 to play. Yeah, whoever gets in after this will be seeing his first action of the game. Steve Wood. That's been another strong combination for Dave Close tonight. Oliver with a total of 16 and Wood with a total of 10. They don't get the ink that Kovac and Feldman do, but they were 2 key ingredients to Stow's team last year. Wood 5 out of 5 from the line. The lead is a dozen, 1:46 to go. At one point, does Jackson start launching the threes?
About 10 minutes ago.
Pendergrass. Just missed. Kovac had it, lost it. Should be Jackson's ball, and it is. 1:32 to play. 71 Stow, 59 Jackson. Bosley. Herod for 3. Troy Herod, his second 3-pointer. 20-point outing for Herod tonight. Our runner-up for the CCI award for the Jackson Polar Bears.
Well, partner, I'm going to head downstairs. As you take the replay, baseline by Kovac, and he's pushed by Cates.
Kovac, 2 out of 2 from the line, make it 3 out of 3. He is From our understanding, the best free throw shooter on the Stow team. About that 80% level. Foul was on Cates, his second. Kovac with 17 in the game. His season average is 25. 11-point lead for Stow. Setting up the three to Herod. Oh! Troy Herod with 23. And the immediate foul. Pendergrass holding his hip as he comes down court. Herod his fourth personal foul. In the very warm Canton Memorial Civic Center, especially up here in the press box. The Jackson lead, or I should say the Jackson deficit, is now 9, and Kovac can bring it back up to double digits. Jamie Bosley with the personal foul, that's his fourth. 1:02 to play, a 10-point Stow lead. Kovac 6 out of 6 from the line. Jackson needs a three in a hurry, and then the foul, but they don't have many fouls to give. Pendergrass, partially blocked. Give the block to Steve Wood.
For everybody's safety, please stay off the floor.
52 seconds to play. Hold everything. That will not count. They'll call a foul on Leon, and he is fouled up. Leon finishing with 4 points. Phil Pendergrass, 75% foul shooter, first time to the line in the tournament. Stow, the home team, on our side of the court, in the hand for Jim Leon. .50 seconds to play. Dave Close taking his time, and he says to send in Jason Herzig. He's got 4 personal fouls. Well, Pendergrass has had plenty of time to think about these free shots. He's been a real spark off the bench tonight with 13. Season average 5 per game. 6'3" junior, so he'll be back. Pendergrass will be back. Nemeth will be back. Stewart will be back. Bosley will be back. So you've got to imagine that Jackson's going to have a strong group next year. Right now, the only thing they're thinking about is this year. Can cut the deficit to 8 with 50 seconds to play. Pendergrass right there. And there's the intentional, well, I would say the intentional foul, but they've got to foul the Stow Bulldogs in order to get the ball back and hope they miss the free shots. 4th on Pendergrass, and that's the problem. Just about everybody out there on the floor for Jackson has 4 fouls. Pendergrass, Bosley, Stewart. Really, Cates is the man out there. May have a foul, at least 1 foul to give. Chet Feldman, 6 points in this game. Short on that one. Bosley battling for it. Call it a jump ball. No, give it to Stow. Kovac will be the trigger man. There's the foul by Herod. See how many he has. That's the one player. Know how many fouls he had here. He's got 3, so he still has at least 1 more to give. The foul line is Herzig, and Jason, his first trip to the line is scoreless. He is the 9th player to score for Stow tonight. It's been the Stow defense, It's been the Stow depth that have been two of the stories. Call a foul against the Bulldogs. It's against Byrne. And both he and Feldman look at each other and know they don't want to say anything else. Got a couple of technical fouls here tonight. 45 seconds to play. 76 for Stow, 67 for Jackson. So Stow's kind of settling in the middle. They're scoring 94 a game. Jackson on average allowing 50 per game. And Stow kind of split the difference with 76. Troy Harrod, 2 out of 4 from the line. He has played a strong game tonight. 24 points. Now, Scott Finkelstein, 5'11" seniors coming in for the first time. The next opportunity specifically to foul. See who they get this one against. Here comes Finkelstein. Troy Harrod may have just fouled out.
Number 22, Scott Finkelstein.
I think he did. Nope, his fourth. His fourth. 76 for Stow, 68 for Jackson. Feldman got that one to go. And first time for Stow on this floor. We talked about the depth perception being much different down here. Shutting out 2 out of 6, make it 3 out of 7 from the line. 8 points in the game. Most importantly, 10-point Stow lead. You need to throw up a 3 in a hurry. Stewart, rim no. Bosley, and they'll give him this one. Oh, and he couldn't get it to go. Bosley got it back, I don't know how, and puts it in. Timeout by Larry Taylor. 23 seconds to go. Stow up by 8.
It's time for the big annual end of winter get ready for spring sale at Wacom Ford Nissan. Selection will never be better. Pricing and financing will never ever be lower. So drive the new Nissan or Ford car or truck of your choice. The Wacom sales pros are ready to deal. You'll enjoy dealing with Wacom. We've been meeting the automotive sales and service needs of this area for over 3 generations. Wacom Ford Nissan, located halfway between Canton and Massillon, the home of the Wacom way.
It's the Spring Super Sale at Value City, featuring part of a $2 million buyout. Men's famous label spring sport coats, not $90, your choice, $39.99. $500,000 buyout. Young men's famous maker linen separates, not $35 to $55, only $16.99 to $24.99. $2.4 million shirt spectacular. Men's famous maker fancy knit shirts, long sleeve dress shirts, or Oxford chambray shirts, not $24 to $33, your choice, $12.99. During the Spring Super Sale at all Value City department stores.
Back here at the Civic Center, 23 seconds left in somebody's season. And Jackson staring at the deficit. Unofficially, Troy Harrod leading Jackson with 24 tonight. Jamie Bosley with 20. And Phil Pendergrass off the bench for 15. He's our CCI player. Look to Jackson to foul here almost immediately. They do so. Stewart has just fouled out. John Stewart will be back next year, a junior. And he finishes with 2 points on the night. Joe Nemeth fouled out of this game with 8. Matt Sharver fouled out with a point. Our CCI player of the game for Stow, Doug Oliver with 16. Kovac quietly has put together 19. And I believe, let's see, Hullinger, there's their plaque and certificate from Rick Lutz and all the fine folks of CCI, along with Ameritech Centrex. Hullinger has 9 off the bench. Byrne with 8 off the bench. So for Jackson now, Finkelstein, Harrod, Cates, Pendergrass, and Bosley. 8 have played tonight for Larry Taylor. 21 seconds to play, an 8-point lead for Stow, make it 9. And now Feldman has found the range. After making just 1 of his first 5, Chet has hit 3 in a row. And he can be in double figures with that one. 10 points for the Stow point guard. A 10-point lead for the Bulldogs with 20 seconds to play. Troy Harrod, a deep three, short. Rebound Hersig, good hustle. Harrod out of bounds. Stow, 11 seconds to play. And the Bulldog fans begin to celebrate. 8 seconds to play and a foul. Steve Wood in double figures tonight for Stow with 11. Adding up some of the numbers here. Cannell down on the floor in case you wonder what happened to TC. We'll hear from him before the end of the game. Jamie Bosley is fouled out. 20 points. And a nice gesture by Larry Taylor honoring the rest of his team. Number 10 is Matt Thiel, a sophomore. Number 14, Jeremy Miller, a junior. Number 52 is Scott Henderson, a sophomore. You're looking at perhaps the future of the Jackson Polar Bears. David Lane, a junior, is in there. And Dave Close takes out his point guard, Chet Feldman. He finishes with 10, and he'll be back here at the Civic Center Saturday night. Kovach. Perfect from the foul line tonight. 7 out of 7. 20 points in the ball game. Attendance tonight, 4,340. Tony Bueno, 6'2" junior in. Night is done for Steve Wood, and he had a good outing. 5 out of 5 from the line and 11 points. Good gesture by both coaches. And they get a chance for all the players who worked so hard in practice, have really been a part of the team concept. This will give Stow a 12-point lead. I think Kovach will probably sit down now and does so. And here comes number 40, Jeff Marinelli. Finkelstein takes it to the hole for 2 with 5 seconds to play. His first bucket, appropriate for the senior, and that'll do it. This game is over. Congratulations to the Stow Bulldogs. They beat the Jackson Polar Bears 82-72. All right, 82-72, the final, down to TC with a victorious Dave Close.
We're here with Dave Close, the winning coach, and what a difference a year makes. You had a nice ball club here last year. A lot of the cast of characters the same, and a really fine ball game tonight.
Yeah, we had a lot of kids back, but our younger kids have stepped up and really contributed this year and helped us be successful. Jackson did a great job coming back at us, fighting and scrapping, getting to the foul line. And they're a nice team. We're really concerned about them, but our kids really played well. I think we did a decent job taking them out of their half-court game, putting a lot of pressure on us. So really proud of how hard our kids played. You know, we could clean up our game a little bit, but we sure did play hard tonight.
We know you scored 94 points a game coming, and everybody knew about your offense. But your defense tonight, the intensity was ferocious. You didn't even give one really free pass all night. They worked for everything.
Right. That's why we score 95 points a game. You know, we create a lot of turnovers. We shoot a lot of layups off of most teams. Now, Jackson didn't, you know, they're a pretty well-coached team. They handle the ball pretty well. They didn't have a lot of turnovers. You know, a lot of games we create a lot of turnovers, shoot a lot of layups. That's why we score points.
Well, tomorrow night's game, Firestone against Chillicothe. You guys will be back Saturday afternoon, and you know a little bit about Firestone. What do we know about Chillicothe?
I know they have a real good big kid inside. It's about, you know, we had them scouted. I have not talked to our scout who scouted that game yet, but they got a real good big kid. Just this week was named all-district down there. 6'6" kid, gets about 18 points a game. And they pretty much build around him from what I understand.
One thing we know for sure, you'll be back Saturday, so we'll look forward to seeing you.
That's all we're worried about. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Dave Close, the very happy coach of the Stow Bulldogs. You can wrap it up, Scott, and I'll see you down here tomorrow night.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate Dave Close coming over and talking to us. These numbers, I should say, are very, very unofficial. as we look at him for the ball game. And I think I'll just go ahead and give him here because we'll be wanting to wrap things up. But from the floor, kind of a wash. Unofficially, Stow 43%, Jackson 44%. From the foul line, Jackson really picked it up in the second half. I've got them unofficially 20 out of 26 for 77%. Still more opportunities, and again, unofficially, 19 out of 34. Rebounding battle, Jackson winning that 35-21, but the big story, the still pressure causing 28 Jackson turnovers. Very quickly, and again, unofficially, the individual scoring. For the Jackson Polar Bears that finished their season at 18-6, Troy Herod 24, Jamie Bosley 20, Phil Pendergrass 15, Joe Nemeth 8, John Stewart 2, Matt Sharver 1, and also Scott Finkelstein a bucket for 2. For the Stow Bulldogs, improving to 23-1. Kevin Kovac with 20, Doug Oliver 16, Steve Wood 11, Chet Fellman 10, Greg Hulliner 9, Jeff Byrne 8, 4 for Jim Leone, 2 for Andy Norman, 1 for Jason Hersig. It all adds up to an 82-72 win, the Stow Bulldogs over the Jackson Polar Bears. So tomorrow night we'll see you at 10:30, Akron Firestone against Chillicothe, and then we'll be back here Saturday night at 10:30 as the winner of that ball game takes on the Stow Bulldogs, and the winner of that game gets a ticket to the Final Four in Columbus. The final score for the final time on the Buckeye Village IGA scoreboard. The Bulldogs down the Polar Bears 82-72.